So we're here with Tim Ferriss to talk about his new book, The 4-Hour Chef. Tim, what is it all about?
The 4-Hour Chef looks and quacks like a cookbook, but as a self-described non-cook, it's a little odd that I would write such a thing. This is really a guide to how to become world-class in just about anything in 6 months or less.
So this is not just cooking, right? I mean, you have this reputation of acquiring bizarre, unique skills quickly. When did you first discover this process?
The metalearning concept really hit me when I was in college, and I became fascinated by two things simultaneously. The first was smart drugs for accelerating acquisition and recall and all of these things. And then I realized, maybe snorting anti-diuretic hormone isn't the best long-term strategy. And simultaneously became fascinated with how different companies were teaching language learning. And that's when I also noticed the same pattern in kickboxing. And I ended up applying it to kickboxing to win the national championships in 1999, which was just a few months after starting practicing. If you believe that instead of being limited to being world-class in one or two things in your life, that you could actually become world-class in one or two things per year, how do your decisions change? How does your outlook change? It changes completely.
Okay, let's get specific then. So if I want to learn some kind of complex skill quickly and I want to become world-class at it, what's the process I have to go through?
Yeah, so the core principles of metalearning are pretty simple. The acronyms that I use, DSSS, and it stands for deconstruction, selection, sequencing, and stakes. This is the process that you apply to any complex skill. And that involves deconstruction. So what are the minimal learnable units, the Lego blocks that I should be starting with? Selection, what 20% of the blocks will produce 80% or more of the outcomes I want. And then sequencing, in what order should I learn these blocks? And then stakes, how do I set up real consequences to guarantee that I follow the program?
So based on what you know then about how people acquire skills, what piece of advice would you give?
My piece of urgent advice would be very simple, and it sounds morbid, but I would say you are going to die. And the sooner you come to terms with the fact that you have a limited amount of time on this planet, and that time is your most valuable non-renewable resource, you should learn to squeeze every ounce of life out of every minute and every hour that you have on this planet. I really cannot think of a better way to do that than to sharpen the blade of the mind and the spirit that you have by emulating the world's fastest learners with metalearning.
Okay, let's get specific then. So if I want to learn some kind of complex skill quickly and I want to become world-class at it, what's the process I have to go through?
So the core principles of metalearning are pretty simple.